Think about Samson. Do you remember him? I mean, a lot of people might not even know a lot about the Bible or whatever. They've heard about Samson. He was the strong guy, right? He was the one to whom God gave this incredible physical strength. So much so he could fight hundreds of men. He could defeat them. And this guy was absolutely incredible. But he had a little weakness. He was really, really strong physically. He was really, really weak sexually. And he had this girlfriend. Her name was, remember her name? Delilah, yeah. And she basically, was kind of a fickle person, and some pressure was put on her by some adversaries of the nation that Samson was a part of to find out the secret for his strength. And so she'd kind of woo him and rub his back and kiss his neck. And, Samson, dude, what's the secret to your strength? Samson would play with her for a while. Oh man, if you bound me in like brand new ropes that never been used, I couldn't break out. I'd just be weak as could be. And she'd go tell the authorities, and they'd come and bind him with ropes, and he'd just break out of them and whoop them all. And then a couple of nights later, she's with him again, and Samson, why didn't you tell me the truth? I'm so hurt. And she'd rub his back, kiss his neck. Please tell him, trust me. This went on several times. And after a while, you think trust would be broken. But finally, Samson goes, okay, here's the deal. Man, if I were cut my hair, it's one of the 3 things God asked me to do. Don't touch a dead body, don't drink any wine, and don't cut my hair. And if you were to do that, it's like my strength would be gone. So Samson's asleep, and, a barber comes into his room and shaves his head. I'm assuming he was a sound sleeper. And all of a sudden, Delilah wakes him up, and oh no, the Philistines are upon us. He gets up, and he's just like a normal man. Strength is gone. The Philistines, who was the country that was they were having battles with, said, we finally got your strong guy. They took him to the public square with the shaved head, and they poked his eyes out. And then they made him do the work of an ox. They put him in a mill where they used to grind grain. And all day long he would push this heavy thing, being the object of ridicule. Now I just want you to look at Samson right there. The weak, gave into this weakness, gave his strength away, captured, eyes poked out, humiliation for him and for the God he said he served. Label his life right there. Success or failure, you tell me. How many look at Samson right there and go, dude, great success? Anybody? How many go, it's like a failure to me? His life wasn't over yet. Because while he's grinding there, thinking in darkness because his eyes are gone, he begins to call to God. Man, I blew it. And his hair began to grow. And he's crying out to God. And then one day they took Samson and they took him off of the mill and they took him to this huge temple that was dedicated to their gods. And they chained one hand on one column, another hand on the other column, so that they could just ridicule him and his God while they had this big festival to the gods they worshiped. And Samson hears the jeers and everything else, and then he just says, God, would you just let my strength come back one more time? And Samson began to push on the pillars of that temple, and God gave him his strength again, and he caused that temple to collapse. And according to the historical records, he killed more of the enemies and invaders in his one final act than he did his entire lifetime. And when you read Hebrews 11, there's Samson. They're right there. Listed in the Hall of Heroes. People who, by virtue of their faith, changed the world. Success! Yes, it is possible for our lives to be a failure, but that label can never be designated until our life is over and all the evidence is in. And no matter how much, how big, or how long you have been failing, you have the opportunity today to do some things that will cause your life to be labeled success as well. And I know when I tell that story, for some people it gives hope, and for others they go, oh no, it takes my hope away. Because what if I live my whole life really well and then at the end I blow it? Well, then all that stuff was nothing, I'm a failure. Anybody heard of John the Baptizer? When I was a Baptist, we called him John the Baptist. John the Baptizer. Man, you want to talk about living an awesome life? You know, I mean, he's out there in the desert, living off of bugs and honey. Survivor would have been nothing for this guy. Wearing these old rough clothes, just preaching this message, repent. Messiah's about to come. Kingdom of heaven is near. Get ready. A lot of people were hearing his message, seeing his boldness. He'd lock eyes with the religious establishment and call them out. Finally, one day he's baptizing and up strolls Jesus. And John sees the Spirit of God descending like a dove and says, the Lamb of God takes away the sins of the world. This is the one I've been talking about. This is the Redeemer, the Savior, the Deliverer, the Rescuer, right there. Keep pointing people to him. What an awesome life this guy lived. And then he got thrown in prison. And his faith got shaken. And John goes, man, you know what? I think I got this whole thing wrong. Because, here I am in jail, like alone, and this is not how it's supposed to turn out. And he lost his faith. And he sends word through some kind soul who visited him in prison to go back and just ask Jesus, look, are you really the one? And get the Spirit behind it. If you're really the one, why am I here? Why am I in jail? I want nothing, anything but serve you faithfully. But he lost his faith. It's a really way of saying, Jesus, what is going on here? And Jesus says these words. This is so cool. He said, just go back and tell John that blind people see and lame people walk, deaf people hear, possessed people are freed, poor people have good news shared with them. Just go tell them that. That guy leaves and Jesus says, hey everybody, from the beginning of time until now, the greatest follower of God that ever lived is John. John, lose your faith guy? John, wait a minute.